Hello everyone and welcome back to another Fate video. Since the last skill video was fun to make, I decided to expand the concept past the skills that are visible. That's right, today we are going to be looking into the lore behind the passive skills in FGO. Now, I was asked in the previous video to do some of the character-specific skills, and while I would like to, as FGO has progressed, characters have more and more unique skills. So, while I may at some point break that down by year, for now I feel like examining the skills seen across multiple servants is necessary. The passive skills have seen their fair share of specialization as of late, but for the most part we can expect certain passives on certain types of servants. But why is that? Well, that's what today is all about. Let's begin examining the shared passives found in FGO. We will be doing this in alphabetical order, so starting off we have Avenger, the skill, not the class. This is a class skill of the Avenger class. What it allows for the servant to do is gather hatred and resentment directed at them and convert it into magical energy. It also makes it so that if you are physically attacked, that too can become power for them. The more resentment they can gather, the higher rank this skill. At EX rank for this skill, we have Space Ishtar. She has this at such a high level because of two reasons. 1. Ashtart, the third form of Space Ishtar, was a primordial goddess in the Servant verse, whose actions cause a great deal of pain and misery, and as a result she held the ire of an entire galaxy. The second reason, and more speculative one on my part, is that the name Ashtart was the name of the love and war goddess that, at least according to Fate, became synonymous with the devil. My own research isn't turning up very much for this, but you know, whatever. At the lowest rank of C, we have Salieri. He resents Mozart, but really only Mozart, and some of the people who support him. But because it's such a one-sided hatred, its rank is not very high. An interesting servant to point out that has this skill is Dioscuri. Castor is technically an Avenger, feeling rage towards the fact that he fell from godhood, hence why the twins have both this skill, as well as Oblivion correction, which we will get into later. Next up is a self-explanatory one, Divinity. Divinity is the measure of a servant's divine power. The higher the level, the closer to godhood they are. Note that it is mentioned in Fate that one cannot normally summon a divine spirit. It is possible, but incredibly difficult. So, the gods that we summon in Chaldea usually either dampen their divinity status or manifest in a host vessel and become a pseudo-servant. The exception to this rule is Arjuna Altar, who is summoned in his near-divine form, and having this at EX rank. Lots of stuff happened with him in Lost Belt 4 that I will not spoil, but he now, while only a fraction, does wield a substantial amount of godlike power. All the way at the bottom of this group is Medusa, with an E- ranked divinity. This is entirely attributed to the fact that in her legends, she became a horrific hero-slaying monster, and as such fell from godhood into damnation. Something worth noting about this skill is that characters do not have to be gods or former gods to possess it. They merely need to be reaching towards that higher echelon. Hence, why saints have this as well, like Martha and George. Never forget that Taiga has the highest divinity amongst the pseudo-servants. Existence outside the domain is the class skill of the foreigner-type servants, and it is described simply as entities originating from the void of outer space. The vast majority of the Lovecraft-inspired foreigners have this at EX for the reasons of communing with an eldritch horror, Van Gogh and Damalay being the exceptions at rank A. For Van Gogh, I chalk it up to a whole bunch of corruption from Clytie being mixed in here and dampening Volthoon's power. For Damalay, it is not stated why it is not EX. On the end of the spectrum at E is Okita Summer, who has the connection to outer space thanks to having a jetpack welded to her spirit origin that originated from the Servant verse. So, by that slim connection, she gets this passive. Next is the Divine Core of a Goddess. Sharing a similar origin to Divinity, this is a special skill given to females that have near-perfect forms as a divine presence. Beings that were perfect since birth, they are unaffected by outside influences that may taint them, such as charms, and allows for them to forever remain in their perfect form. In EX tier, we have one of the most perfect forms in Fate, Quetzalcoatl, able to maintain this high level of skill because the vessel she has is not being done through possession. Lakshmi Bai has this as well at the lower rank of C, as she is said to harbor within her the goddess Elakshmi, but because she is technically a pseudo-servant, the rank is dampened. High servants are servants that have multiple divinities or spirits inside of them. I have an entire video on the concept, so go watch that. In brief, the skill in-game does nothing, as of right now. At EX rank, we have King Protea because of the absolutely insanely powerful spirits inside of her, being Titania, Tiamat, and Airavata. On the low rank of A is Shitonai, with Lohi, Freya, and Shitonai, all mixed together in the body of Ilya. Independent action is usually seen as the class skill of the Archer class and allows for them to remain within the world for a long period of time without the need of a contract. This falls pretty heavily on the idea that servants require a constant stream of magical energy to remain anchored in our world. Archers, being experts of positioning, ambush, and precision, often need to be out in the field, hence where this skill comes from. The higher the rank of this skill, the longer a servant can last without magical energy from a master. Ashvatham has this skill at EX, along with a number of others. Ash is able to be out in the field for an indefinite amount of time, so long as he has a target for his Incarnation of Rage skill. Essentially, so long as there is a will, Ash finds a way. Medusa has this at rank C because she is able to sustain herself on blood, which is a source of magical energy in the Fate universe. However, she has to replenish this daily or she will cease to manifest if she has no master. Independent manifestation is a servant's ability to appear wherever they like without a proper summoning ritual, essentially making themselves verified to the world that they belong there. Normally, this is a skill reserved for the Beast class, and is a big sticking point for people with Merlin. Merlin is theorized to be a Beast candidate, and the skill certainly helps that case. He has it at rank A, and it is what he uses to operate in Chaldea. Normally, Merlin cannot be summoned because he isn't dead. He is forever trapped in Avalon for his penis crimes. But he can project himself to lend us a hand if the god just happens to smile upon you. On the other hand, at rank D, we have Larva Tiamat, who I just want to talk about, rather than Summer Kiara. Larva Tiamat loses 2 levels on this rank for her manifesting in the ocean and from being in a larval state. However, she is described as demanding and will cost a good deal of magical energy if you choose to form a contract. Insanity is given no description, so I will. It's like an evolution of the skill Madness Enhancement, except the difference being that this skill is provided to those that truly went insane. I'm talking Lovecraft-style crazy, because there are 3 servants that have it. 2 are Abby and the 3rd is Van Gogh. Going off of my Lovecraft knowledge, to merely gaze upon an old one can cause the mind to melt, but should you survive, you will have gone insane. Abby clearly retains her sanity to some extent, given how she is able to communicate. But when she flips over to her other half, yeah, it's full-on crazy. Van Gogh is... well, Van Gogh is described as being the mad water nymph Clytie, so that's reason enough. Funny enough, Summer Abby's insanity is higher than normal Abby's, probably because of her starting off in her evil form. Item construction is a caster class skill. It is the ability to create or generate items ranging from arms of war to simple items. The higher the rank, the more powerful and varied the range of items able to be made is. At EX rank for this skill is Paracelsus. I will eventually do a full coverage of him in Behind the Servants, but until then just know that he was one of the most successful alchemists in the world, and helped to spread the concept of the elementals. He has a number of legends attributed to him crafting magical items, and as such, was given the EX rank. On the other hand, Caster Marie is able to create a beach ball. A caster is also able to lose this skill or simply just not have it. Gilles de Rais, for example, does not have this skill because instead he's able to create monsters. Madness Enhancement is the class skill for Berserkers. It raises the physical parameters at the cost of mental ones. The higher level the Madness Enhancement, the stronger the unit is, but the more fixated on one thing they tend to be. Good examples of this are Spartacus, Nightingale, and Kiyohime Summer. What we know about all of their personalities is that they are all fixated on something. For Spartacus, it's oppression and taking the hardest route to get there. For Nightingale, it is curing ailments, and Kiyohime is obsessing over lying and her master. Some with an E rank that are also not Berserkers are Tomoe and Jaguar Man. Tomoe has it because of her Oni nature and battlefield mentality. Jaguar Man has it because she is Taiga. The reasons as to why some non-Berserkers have Madness Enhancements is wide and varied. A lot of it comes down to how they act in history and in their legends. If a character is known for bouts of insanity, they will likely have it. Are they an Oni? Probably have it. Do they originate as a Berserker? This will probably give it to them as well. Is the character unable to understand humans? This qualifies them to have it as well. It is one of the most varied and plentiful skills in the game, and there are several different reasons for a servant to have it. Magic resistance is just that, the ability to resist magical influence. This can either be from a natural born ability or protection from God. Regardless, the effect remains the same. On that, Summer Martha has the skill at EX for her unwavering faith. However, she has it for her unwavering faith, so others around her will still be affected. At E tier, Okita has this. It's because she lived in what is described as the Age of Mystery, and has it because of feng shui or something. I say something like that because it's not explained well. Oblivion Correction is another Avenger class skill that has to do with the fact that Avengers never forget anything. They retain this information to use against others and thus strengthen their critical attacks. A character who never forgets all the evil done to him is Angra Mainyu, hence why this is at rank A. At the lowest rank is Mamanobu with E, simply because she is unable to forget anything. It can't be helped. Presence Concealment is the Assassin's class skill. It is exactly as it is described, being able to conceal one's presence and get the drop on an enemy. Having this at EX tier but not using it because she claims to be a saber is MHX. In a way, being able to feign your class to another is certainly concealing something. At rank E is Skahawk Summer, who would have it higher if not for her Beach Crisis skill, but she doesn't care. That is not just me writing this weird, that is how it is described. At D tier and lower, most of the labeled assassins are not actual assassins, but people who killed others. Like, the reason Carmilla was not caught was because she was royalty and did so on her own property, so her concealment was more of her hiding something in plain sight. Riding is the class skill of the Rider class, and one that is just as varied as the Madness Enhancement skill. This is because this skill is used to denote those who have experience riding something, be it horses, vehicles, if you're Maeve, then people, whatever. At EX rank is Red Hair because he's a horse, kind of. At rank E is Okita again. Let me just read this adorable passage about it for you. There is no anecdote that she was active in riding a horse. Quote, Okita, but the Shinsengumi are actually active in riding horses, end quote. She says silently while refusing to listen to the truth. As a degree of apology, she is compensated with this skill only due to her class container. Self-replenishment is an Avenger class skill described as the ability to create one's own mana until their revenge has been sated. Jalter has this at A+, because she was originally a creation from the Holy Grail, so her connection to it is significantly heightened. At rank E is Angry Mango. With no real description, but if I had to guess, it's likely due to the fact that he is an incredibly minor character, as well as his revenge already being somewhat dealt with in his lore. Territory Creation is a caster class skill that allows them to alter the terrain around them in order to make an advantageous area, be it for tactical reasons or making themselves a workshop to operate in. At EX rank is Anastasia, and this has everything to do with a noble phantasm that is not used in-game. It is the ability to expand the territory around her into the territory of the Tsar, and everything that happens in that territory she can see and somewhat control. Oberon has this at rank E- because the forest that was once his territory was destroyed, thus he's only able to make a limited workshop for himself. Our final skill is Unlimited Prana Supply, which is an unlimited amount of magical energy for the owner of this skill. Essentially, it allows for them to have a constant output of energy, which they can use. The two who have this skill get it from owning two magical wands called Ruby and Sapphire. These two, of course, are Ilya and Miyu. Miyu's is a higher rank being rank B because she is a better mage. Ilya's is rank C due to her lack of ability, and Ruby being a bit of a pain in the ass. But that is it. I believe every passive skill that I have just shared, save for one that I purposely neglected to mention due to story spoilers, is in this list. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Like the videos, it really does help out the channel. Subscribe to catch these as they go up. Check out the Discord in the description. Follow my Twitch for significantly less structured content. I also have a Twitter. I would like to do a shout out to my buddy Jake for drawing the new model that you've been seeing in front of you for these last few minutes, and to @fuckingjames on Twitter for rigging it. If you need an artist or a rigging expert, please, please, please go support them. They are both absolutely wonderful. I have links to both of them down in the description. But for now, keep your chin up. Peace.